Tremors are felt in Kuala Lumpur today, and it's all down to the sellout crowd at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium. Noise levels so high you can hardly hear yourself inside it, but you can hear it outside at every corner in Malaysia. The Thais and Malaysians gathering from as early as 2:30 in the afternoon to fill out this national stadium, which has to be used ahead of the closing ceremony in order to take the high demand of tickets. The most glamorous gold medal of the SEA Games at stake, football finals. And since this has been turned into an under-23 event in 2001 in this city, there have only been 2 winners. And after these games, that stat will remain, because those 2 winners are meeting in the final, Malaysia and the mighty Thailand. Well, what's that they said before, the famous saying that there are only 2 certainties in life: death, taxes. I guess you could put Thailand in a SEA Games gold medal match for football as one of those as well, because they have been absolutely dominant in this event in the Southeast Asian Games. They are, I can tell you, on a 19-match unbeaten streak in the SEA Games, Thailand. The last team to beat Thailand at the SEA Games was Singapore back in 17th November 2011. That was 2-0 in Palembang. And just as you think, 19 matches unbeaten at the SEA Games, that's quite impressive. That's not even close to their record. Their record, 52 games unbeaten from 1991 to 2009. That run started after a semi-final loss to Malaysia here in KL in 1989, and it ended as well by Malaysia in 2009, and they lost by 2-1. So these two teams have been so dominant in football that they have won 18 of the previous 28 SEA Games. Thailand winning 13 of those, Malaysia winning it 5 times, including a final victory against the Thais in 1977 when Bakri Ibni and Mokhtar Dahari scored the goals for them. They also won here in KL in the semi-finals by a 0-0 scored by Zainal Abidin, and they need to cull up the spirit of 1989 for this precious, precious gold medal. Because in 2001 it was these two teams that met in football's first ever under-23 final at the SEA Games, and that day Thailand won by a 0-0. Matches between Thailand and Malaysia have always been dramatic at the SEA Games. In fact, there have been goals scored in the last 5 minutes of play, the last 4 times they met at this level. It included, of course, 2015 when Thailand won by a 0-0 scored by Saraj Yuyen. And then Malaysia, before that, won 2 matches in a row, both by 2-1. Ishak Faris scoring in the last 5 minutes in Palembang, and in 2009, Ahmad Fakhri scoring with 2 minutes of added time to knock Thailand out of the group stages for the very first time. Thailand have only lost 4 times at under-23 level at the SEA Games, but 3 of those 4 defeats came in 2011 alone. In fact, those 4 defeats came in the years 2009 and 2011. Outside of that, they have never lost. This Malaysian team has got history in their sights, but they've got Thailand standing in their way, and that is a daunting order. Come to a standstill. Will the players take in the energy from the crowd, or will it be totally sucked away because it can go either way for the home side? And in order to win the gold medal, they know they have to score against a side that haven't conceded in 480 minutes at these games. Thailand have been strong and resolute in terms of their backline. Malaysia have been very impressive and take with them the only side in the tournament with a 100% record coming into the finals. Those are your officials. Chen Xin-chuan, the referee from Chinese Taipei, assisted down the lines by Kuo Chuan-yu of Chinese Taipei and Fok Pong-shing of Hong Kong. Big job indeed for a man who's looking at Malaysia's biggest football match since the 2010 Suzuki Cup final against Indonesia, where it was also a real din and a real sellout. The Thais will always add their colour and frenzy to any football match. This is the gold medal that everybody wants. So says Ong Kim Swee, the coach of Malaysia, and it's a gold medal that Malaysia have won in 2009 and 2011. Thailand, of course, 2013 and 2015, and 11 other times aside from that. They've only lost 2 finals in their SEA Games history. The Malaysians are 5 times champions: 77, 79, 89, 09 and 11. In fact, the last SEA Games was only the second time they did not qualify for the semi-finals of the SEA Games since it's been switched to an under-23 level. Adib Zainudin, a very nervous looking Adib Zainudin, the captain of Malaysia, alongside Chenrop Sampaiwei, the Thai striker who scored their last 2 goals in this championships. And Chenrop Sampaiwei is really a player to watch because Adib will be keeping a close eye on him. The Malaysians make just one change to the lineup that won in the semi-finals against Indonesia, and that is Jafri Firdaus, the number 11, coming in for the very unfortunate Kumaran, who had to leave that match due to a knee injury. Well, it is a side, of course, that enjoyed their first clean sheet of the competition against Indonesia and are hoping that their defense will stay as solid in this game against the Thais, who can counter and score in lightning quick pace. Thailand won by a goal to nil as we have a look at Ong Kim Swee, the 20th Malaysian coach at the SEA Games, and this is his 25th match as coach of the Malaysians in the SEA Games in what has been his 4th and probably final games. I don't think the players can hear him on the pitch, so everything that needs to be said tactically would have to be done in the dressing rooms, and part of it is the fact that they need to start off strong against a Thai squad who won by a goal to nil against Myanmar and make 2 changes from the squad that won. Out goes Nattawut Sombatyotha and Chaiyawat Buran. In their places come Sasalaka Haiplakon and Warachit Kanitsribumpen. The Thai substitutes include that number 7 Nattawut, who's already got a goal in this tournament. They've beaten Malaysia twice already at under 23 level in 2017. As we have a look at their coach Waterwood Srimaka, who was part of that Thai squad that went on the 52-game unbeaten run in the 1990s, and he's looking to win the gold medal for the... So he's looking to win sincerely do apologize. It's so loud here at the stadium we could hardly hear ourselves as well. But Waterwood Srimaka, the Thai coach, is looking to become just the 4th coach to win the SEA Games gold medal in football as player and coach. And he too comes with a lot of credentials, being the 2nd all-time top scorer in the history of the Southeast Asian Football Championships. The stage is set at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium. Chomp or choke, slither or shiver. What say you, Malaysia and Thailand? The fans, as I said, arriving since 2:30 p.m. They're here ready for a celebration. The players now need to play the right kind of music for the party to start. The 2017 Southeast Asian Games football final begins with Malaysia attacking the Thais, and with the rain coming down, it might not be too conducive for the skilled players like Safawi Rasid as Thanabalan goes for the high ball straight away. It's bounced kindly for the Malaysians in the opening stages, and they win a corner right away after just 15 seconds. Jafri, who will always be running all day long behind the defense, has got that already from the Thais after some sleepy marking, especially from Surya Singmoy. Goalkeeper Nont Wangnam, who has been one of their stars of the tournament, will need to watch, because Malaysia have really profited from their dead ball situations at these games. Safawi himself goes to take it. He's got the sweetest left foot in this tournament. It swung right in. The Thais so very good with their set pieces in terms of defending them. Manages to do that, no free kick, but the Thais get into each other's way, and Malaysia somehow very nervously trying to clear the ball, and it's going to be a free kick for Thailand. The braver of the two getting stuck in Sasalak. Well, if this is what it's going to be like in the opening stages of this match, then we're in for a real treat, because both these teams are looking for the early goal to settle scores early on in this match. Adib with a high boot called for the free kick straight away. It's going to be onside. Get involved Syawan, who didn't really have the stoutest of games in that match against Indonesia. This time a good first clearance from him. The Thais always trying to use the flanks as much as possible. It's Ratanakon Maikami, offside. Flag went up straight away. The moment Putra thought he had broken the back line and ran past, he's onside. He is onside. That cross would have been defended anyway, but Thailand would have won their first corner of the match. So fast and furious is the kind of start that we want, and the Malaysians certainly started very strongly against the Indonesians in the semi-finals, only to have it petered off somewhat. And as I said, this is a Thai squad that know how to defend. It's different from the class of 2015 with the likes of Chanatip Songkrasin. It was so very silky and buttery going forward. So teams would always be looking at trying to play on the counter against the Thais in 2015. But the class of 2017 are almost, if you'd like to call it, an antithesis of a Thailand football squad, because they defend and try to go on the counter attack themselves. So the Malaysians will be seeing a lot of the ball, and the Thais wouldn't mind them having the ball, because there are cracks behind the Malaysian backline for them to exploit. They've used the flanks diligently throughout this tournament. And there they try to look for Matthew Davies again. Both their wing backs, Davies and Syawan, will try to make this pitch as wide as possible. It's been Ong Kim Sui's ploy, playing three at the back and asking them to switch with those diagonal long balls as soon as possible. Well, the Thais will look to quieten the crowd down in the opening stages of this match, and you can tell already almost 90,000 here at the National Stadium, and you can almost hear a pin drop. It only means that the nerves are getting to the crowd as much as they are on the players. Chenrop happy to win the throw, so he thought. It certainly did come off a Malaysian, Syamer Kutty, but the referee signaled it to go the other way around. Davies, Thanabalan needs one more goal to match the exploits of Akmal Rizal in the 2001 and 2003 tournaments. Well, the 2001 tournament, I remember, in Kuala Lumpur was built up and it was sold out as well, only to have it end on a whimper, not just the results for the Malaysians, but the match as well, with both teams totally cancelling one another out. Syamer Kutty didn't start the tournament as first choice, but since he's been on, there's no replacing him. The way that he has protected the defense and made sure that he always kept the ball as long as possible. Chenrop gets the first free kick from Adib. And that'll be a battle that will be very interesting to watch out for, because the other two centre-backs, Irfan Zakaria and Adam Noor Azlin, might be very, very busy trying to keep out Putra and Sasalak from running down the flanks. Because if there's anything, and probably a weakness of this Malaysian backline, is their ability to open their gaps up. And taken down superbly well by Chenrop. Clever ball inside. They've gone through. Is that a penalty? I think it is. No, the referee said play on. It looked like a penalty. Almost a clear shout Adib goes out, and he's not too happy with how Sukjitumakun has just gone down way too easily. But the box-to-box player, Sukjitumakun, has gone diving right in. He took contact, and it looks like a penalty. There was contact. The referee, though, afraid to call it and incur the wrath of the crowd in the early minutes. There we go. There was contact right there from Adib. And he's a very, very lucky boy. Fitiwat Sukjitumakun. If there wasn't contact and it wasn't a penalty, then he has to be yellow carded for what is an apparent dive. The Chiang Rai United player has already got one goal in these games, and that came against Vietnam. Well, the Thais will at least take some comfort in that fact that the likes of Veerachart and Fitiwat are able to break clear of this Malaysian defence. 4-0, they beat Malaysia early in the year. That came in the Dubai Cup. Then they faced each other all over again as the Malaysians tried to break clear thanks to Thanabalan. The goalkeeper, though, has been rock solid throughout this tournament, Wong Nam. And in the AFC Under-23 qualifiers, Thailand came up and triumphed by 3-0. All hopes really lie with Thanabalan, doesn't it, for the Malaysians? Might be a night which requires him to be speeding down the flanks. Already players losing their footing in the early stages of this match. Matthew Davies, it's a push and header for Thanabalan, easily covered by the Thais. That's absolutely superb play by Veerachart and his Pen. Defending was no nonsense in terms of safety first. That came from the captain Adib. It's actually Irfan Zakaria. All three defenders, remember, Malaysian centre-backs, all 1.8 metres and above, so they will be very hard to counter again. So Waterwood's already given the instructions to his Thai team, the way that he wants them set up. They have probably started the brighter of these two sides in this final. Yet again trying to pick the pocket of the Malaysians. That's a splendid sliding tackle. Matthew Davies gives the ball away. They've broken clear and it's onside. It's Chenrop. Davies recovers just in time to atone for his earlier error, but it's a corner to Thailand and their first of the game. Well, he can be had, Davies, only because he is so adventurous, the Australian-born Malaysian, always looking to gallop forward and provide as much width as possible to this Malaysian squad. His crosses can be pretty deadly too, but that leaves a gap right at the back for the likes of Sasalak to exploit. And that time, Chenrop Sampaudi almost did. Sampaudi goes in, just escapes everyone. Malaysian goalkeeper Haziq Nadzli didn't even come close to the ball. So, flurry of chances for Thailand in the opening minutes. As we see, Saringkhan Pomsupa trying to attack that, only to be met by the Malaysian guardian angel. Kim Sui must have loved the opening minutes of this match when his team just went off and set themselves out on fire. Waterwood's Sri Maka would hope that his very own goal-scoring exploits would rub off on his players. He's never lost a SEA Games match, by the way, Waterwood Sri Maka, as a player or as coach. It's his first SEA Games tournament as coach. The last goal that Thailand conceded was in the first match of this tournament against Indonesia. It was from the penalty spot. So it's 489 minutes now without conceding a goal in this tournament for Thailand. You want to go all the way back. The last goal they conceded from open play, 10th of June 2015 in the SEA Games. That came against Vietnam. So it's 8 games now and 720 minutes, 730 minutes without conceding a goal from open play for the Thais. The Malaysians need to break that streak in order to give themselves any sort of a sniff for the SEA Games gold medal. Chenrop, player asking for the early ball, was Sasalaka. Once again losing his footing. It's Surya trying to just dip the ball behind the defense. Then Irfan Zakaria was very watchful. Surya, not the best of passes, as I said, the pitch misbehaving at the moment. A lot of players just slipping all over the surface. which can be very zippy and very hard to control in terms of those balls hit at you at 100 miles per hour. Jafri Chu is a striker who will ensure that he's as industrious as ever in trying to stretch this Thai defence as wide as possible to allow his fellow strikers, the likes of Thanabalan and Safawi Rasid, just to run in behind them. Easy header one by Davies, nicely controlled that time by Nopon. Pass forward was well controlled by Ultra. It's a poor ball then by Ratanakon. Chance for Jafri Chu now to stretch his legs. Jafri Firdaus Chu. So 11 minutes of play gone by in the football final. Neither side with a clear-cut opportunity yet. Malaysia trying to get there first. Syawan it is, the left wing back, looking for the angle for the cross. Can't find any. Gets a second opportunity. Gets the next best thing, which is a corner. Left wing back from JDT2. Syawan Ishak. That was all heart. That was all guts in trying to keep the ball. The Thais have worked tirelessly in quelling the Malaysian positives, especially with their set pieces. Oh, this time though the Thais don't deal with it. The header from Jafri Chu, who always attacks the near post, was a flick on, and all it needed was just a touch from Thanabalan, who's just a little... Well, if his legs were just about 50 centimeters longer, that would have gotten right at it. It came at him at speed, and he knew it was a chance. Definitely is the best chance of the game so far. Another header won by Chenrop. He's very much in the mold that his coach was at his pomp. What I would remark, so he's got the perfect coach to actually take him forward in his under 23 level. Not the best of clearances that time by Adam. Thais love to actually have the ball at feet, in control of it. Chenrop invites Nopon to come forward. His pass was loose, easily picked up by Syawan. It's actually Syamer Kutty. Jafri Chu once again stretching the defence out wide. Safawi had to go short. Davies. Adib using Syamer. Very good defending by Surya. He was watching Thanabalan all the way, ensured that on that header, otherwise there was a break on. This guy is quite a player, I tell you. This number 18, Warachit Kanitsrigumfen. He's got such silky skills, and even as a young kid, just stood out from the rest. Warachit, just the one goal he scored in this tournament. That was against Timor-Leste, the winner against them. Warahut. Another loose touch by the Thais. Matthew Davies coming away with it. Thanabalan's turn now to just turn on the afterburners and go right past this Thai defence. Brilliant defending once again by Nopon Pongkara. That's the reason why he's put in this team, the number 8, Nopon Pongkam. He plays his football for Air Force Central. Really very much an unsung hero in this Thai squad, but totally loved by his coach, Waterwood Somaka. He needs that sort of a biter in midfield, isn't it? Just to be tenacious. Matthew Davies, fortunate. The goalkeeper comes out, it was his all the way. He was fortunate, Davies, to get a second bite at it. Made the most of it. The Malaysians just charging in at every opportunity for those challenges in 50-50 balls. Chenrop does enough with his body to win a free kick for Thailand. Well, they might have lost Kumaran. in the semi-finals, Malaysia, but in Jafri they have a player who certainly knows the back of the net, top scorer for the team in the 2016 AFC Under-19s, the 2016 AFF Under-19s for Malaysia. He's already got 2 in this tournament against Laos. Ball had lovely shape behind it. You can see what he was trying to do with this Malaysian backline, always playing so high up. He's always trying to bend it. Sasala Kai Plakon. Just too much zip. There we go. Immediately spotted the run of Chenrop. Goalkeeper anticipated Haziq. So we're at that trading punches point of the match now. Nothing penetrative yet from these two teams. They've broken the offside trap, Thailand, momentarily though. Chenrop, still Chenrop. Oh, so close to the opening goal of the match. And with the form that he's been in, scoring in the last 2 games of the SEA Games, you thought he might have just buried it. Composed enough to open his body up, to give himself that angle, but good enough defending to box it out. Yet again cleverly frowned by Veerachart, who is asking some questions of this Malaysian defense in the early minutes already. Shazwan. Azam. Back to Shazwan. Happy to play in. Adam. And then Irfan Zakaria. As always, Syamer Kutty not too far away from the action. Davies got a little lucky. Pitch helping him by taking out a Thai player. Syamer. Azam to Shazwan. Tried to get the momentum of the attack going with that pass out to Safawi. We all know he's got really good deliveries from that left foot, but how about that touch once again from that number 18, Veerachart. We did talk about how great a player he is, and just that one classy touch alone tells you that he's almost a league apart from the rest in terms of that ability on the ball. Space now for Peerawat Akratum. Scored 1 goal against the Malaysians in the Dubai Cup. Sasalak tried to encourage the run of Surya Sinmue forward. Well, it's a very interesting battle down this Malaysian right-hand side and the Thai left back, Matthew Davies and Surya Sinmue, because 2 of them probably have been the best crossers of the ball in this tournament, and 2 of them might just cancel each other out in terms of their defensive work versus their offensive play. At the moment, Davies, who's been seeing more of the ball moving forward than Surya. We haven't seen anything of in terms of an adventurous fullback. Chenrop doing all the hard work yet again. Sliding tackle had to be perfect, and it was. Shazwan. Syamer Kutty with space to turn and spot. Loafing long legs of his real revelation of this tournament. In the moment he was included in the side to play against Singapore, you can't take him out anymore. That box-to-box player we saw already in the match against Indonesia, the way he cancelled out the Indonesians in the midfield, how he destroyed them in the first 45 minutes and then in the second 45 minutes when needed. He's always pushing forward as much as possible. With his presence in the team, it allows Azam Azih to do what he does best, pull the strings for the Malaysians. Chenrop loses out to the air. Last came off the Malaysian. Now it's the 2nd time already that he's had a decision go against him, Chenrop Samfaidi. Played in the last SEA Games, Chenrop, one of 2 Thai players, along with Surya Sinmue, the left full back. Played in the last SEA Games. He's got 2 here in KL. He had 2 in Singapore as well. Davies. Now space opening up for Adam Azlin. striker turned defender. So he's got an eye for goal too. Safawi managing to maintain his balance and free up Shazwan. Now there's space opening up for the cross. Too deep though. Matthew trying to latch himself onto this, allows the ball to run unnecessarily, and the Thais have an opportunity to counter right now with Sasalak. Chenrop on his outside. Too many players now coming back for the Malaysians. There's the Thai player freed up. Another brilliant pass once again by Veerachart. The idea was right, and on a dry pitch that would have found Sasalak on the way to goal. But just for a second there was a break on the other side by Ficha Utra, and Veerachart, if he had spotted that, might have just played him in. Screaming for a foul throw from the referee, from Sasalak Naiprakon. Another one of those players who scored against Malaysia in the Dubai Cup. The opening goal in that 4-0 win. Surya did talk about how cultured the left foot he has. It's much better than that pass that he just delivered. Just looking for Chenrop, but a little too deep. Veerachart couldn't come from behind to attack it. Well, the fulcrum of the attack is very much the number 18. He does a lot of the tricky work. He's the player with the eye for the pass. That's the axis of it, is Chenrop. He's the stem from which those Thai leaves grow out from. Malaysia themselves have gone 296 minutes without a goal against Thailand at under 23 level, including the 22 in this match. So really need to get their skates on and hoping for the opening goal. Adam keeps it in play. Shazwan tries to continue with the impetus of the attack, which is now completely lost. And the Thais, who've been lightning quick in terms of their counter-attacking football at these games, trying to break out fast enough. Oh, I tell you what, that break was on, and Chenrop did brilliantly in terms of holding play up and then winning the ball back from Syamer, who'll try to be too cute. Veerachart asking for the ball. Not enough subtlety in that little lob. Ucha comes away with it. Syamer makes up for his own error with that sliding challenge and apologizes to his teammate. Well, he's facing a Thai player, Chenrop, who is indefatigable and his spirit is undying. He will chase and hunt you down for the ball. And that time perhaps maybe the wrong run from Veerachart. Panitsri Bumpen. Not the best of passes forward by Ratakon Maikami. Jafri Chu turns well, uses his body brilliantly. Now needs support, of which he's got very little, but he's held the ball up well enough. Davies, Jafri's in the middle, so too Safawi. The Thais had to watch and defend at the expense of a corner. At least that's got the home crowd going again. Well, the opening goal scored by Malaysia at these SEA Games, probably still the best goal of the tournament, came that way. A cross from Matthew Davies to the far post for a thumping volley from Safawi Rasid. That time he couldn't get the elevation. And Safawi's come right up to take this corner. 2 corners for Malaysia. This is their third, but both the earlier ones have caused some problems in the Thai backline, one of which was dealt with aerially. The other one just escaped Thanabalan. This one's gone far post. Not the cleanest of connections, and the Thais can't believe it because it came off the Malaysian. I believe it was Matthew Davies who headed it off his own feet and out of play. There we go, headed it off his left foot and out of play. That should have been a goal kick. And somehow the referee wasn't too far away from it. Decided to give a corner to the Malaysians. So another opportunity now. Azam hangs it in the air forever. Davies wins it in the air. Second ball though could not be contested, so it's always going wide. But this will give them some hope, the Malaysians, despite the fact that the Thais have been so steely and resolute at the back. The Malaysians have somehow still managed to win some headers in the penalty box. 20 minutes remaining of the first half. Neither goalkeeper has had a save to make yet. Sasalak, still Sasalak. Work from Thanabalan was immediately applauded by Ong Kim Sui and then the fans. Chenrop. Ball just magnetized to that body of Chenrop. Sarin Khan. Now space opening up for Ratanakon Maikami. Once again looking for the ball behind the defense. They've stood off. And that was a chance for the Thais. It was Picha Utra. They almost thought that the ball was going to come right back in for Chenrop. Instead, Ucha just spotted that little gap, the opportunity to pull the trigger, which he did. And Thailand now earn the corner themselves. Sasalak Haiprapon to take this. Haziq Nadzli needs his defenders to block out the Thais. First time of asking, they didn't have anything to do because the Thais conspired to take it short and then give the ball away. Somehow the corner's still theirs. Second chance now, and surely this will be swung in. Attacking the near post. What a save that one was by Haziq Nadzli. First time either goalkeeper's been called into action, and it's acrobatically turned over. Picha Utra, one of the smaller players on the pitch, but his darting run created the space and found the angle for the header on target. Haziq Nadzli, though, comes up with the goods. Oh, he spilt it this time! And the Thais have their third corner and a fourth corner in a row. Well, unbelievable. After producing a quite magnificent save, he goes there and almost spills it and gives that opportunity to the Thais with an elementary error. Surya managing to stretch and keep it in play. Thanabalan. Because Syamer actually has come right back to help out with its defense yet again. So the first shot on target finally, and it was a header by Picha Utra that produced a brilliant save by Haziq. That's the life of a goalkeeper, isn't it? You get the boost from the crowd when just a minute ago you were hailed as a national hero. It can just turn on you any given moment. But the Thais now are starting to gain some momentum in this match. Chenrop running back from an offside position, immediately signaled by the assistant referee. Flag came out to the moment he decided to attack this ball. Adam Noazlin, Syamer, Azam Azih. So far we haven't seen much of him as a creative force. Azam Azih, Matthew Davies trying to work the angle for himself, somehow manages to wrap his leg around it for the cross, but there is always going to be no one inside there attacking it. Jafri on the edge of the penalty box waiting for any sort of a pullback. The break is on for Malaysia now. It wasn't too far away, that effort from Azam. We know he has that in his arsenal. And shot from distance. We saw that against Singapore when he scored the equalizer in that game. That time he was always under the ball. Oh, the weather might be wreaking havoc on the pitch, but it's not dampened the spirits on the stands, I can tell you. Not just the Thais, but the Malaysians. It has made for what has been a very scrappy game so far, but you always expected it with so much at stake. Haziq deciding to take his time a little bit, which caused a few nervous flutters in the crowd from the Malaysians. It's very clever, very, very clever. As they switch the ball out to Davies. Jafri is there, attacks and wins it. It's finally their first effort on target, but it was a feeble enough attempt that goalkeeper didn't even really have to adjust himself in order to gather it. Might have done better to nod it down for Thanabalan. I think he was aware of Thanabalan's presence, but just the height of the ball and the way he attacked it really wasn't over it, and the only angle he had was towards goal. Safawi Rasid, we haven't seen him much yet in this game, Safawi. What a player he is. But it was dipping. Would you count that as a shot on target? Probably. Nons among them is not going to be beaten or fooled by the trajectory of that ball. Sasalak, they've been attacking down this left-hand side a lot more in this tournament than they have down the right of Thailand. As I said, it makes for very intriguing prospects because the Malaysians actually attack down the right-hand side more than they do down the left. And once in a while, when it goes to Safawi, he has got those incisive passes that break up any sort of organization at the back. At the moment, no way through the Thais. The best chance of the game have fallen to the team in black. It's going to be a free kick, one of the easier decisions for the referees to call in this match. Surya tripped up by Thanabalan. Srimaka is the assistant national coach as well to their new coach Milaban Bayevak. And throughout this tournament we've seen the Thais always trying to force themselves into 2-on-1 situations, press the ball as high up as possible. We haven't seen this yet against the Malaysians, where they've tried to be resolute and steady in defence and use the body strength of Chenrop up front. That time the ball was lost out by Veerachart. Jafri out wide to Syawan. This is Safawi. Syawan certainly has the pace and the legs to get there. This Thai side is just brilliant defensively. That time Ratanakon ensuring he got there first. Room now for the cross. Well headed away yet again, this time Sarin Khan. Sasalak. Chenrop, always so strong and hard to shake off the ball. Oh well, it looked as if it was a slip off the pitch, but the referee's given it, and Chenrop can't believe it. Magnificent centre-forward play. Did he hold him back here? Oh, maybe that was a call by the referee if he had seen that. A little leg that's being put up in order to prevent Adib from getting to the ball. Would have to say good decision. Morawat can't believe it, but watching the replays, that was a free kick for Malaysia. Adib Zainudin, very stout defensively so far against Chenrop. Remember, the Myanmar side were also very good against him, but he still scored against them in the 4th minute of added time at the end of the game. Irfan Zakaria decides not to be part of the mix in the penalty box this time, hunting for the ball despite his huge frame. His free kick is rather disappointing, but somehow the Malaysians fortuitous in the ball getting towards the byline. It is cleared by the Thais. Adam, not the most convincing of headers from him. Veerachart was always going to be second best in the air. Azam, vision impeccable. Shazwan's cross, not enough height behind it. Easily cut out. Wonderful work that time by Veerachart. And then by Chenrop. Getting some wheels in his heels until that intervention from Irfan Zakaria. Now that's woken the crowd up a little bit now. Might be messy, but Ong Kim Sui would not mind it. Because that's one way that you can live with the Thais. It's just to get yourself stuck in with them. In terms of that, their players haven't shirked. In case you're wondering, Indonesia clinching bronze after winning against Myanmar. Working with space for the cross, but the delivery is very poor from Utra. Once again, Safawi. So buttery. All-in-one movement from the JDT player. Last season's Young Player of the Year in Malaysia, Safawi Rasid. Bong Kam, who has really behaved like a Thai squirrel who's missing his nut. And the team bus just been scurrying around the whole place throughout this match. That time he tried to stop the run of Safawi. So he'll have to watch now in terms of his challenges. Safawi gives the ball away. Chenrop will be offside. It's pretty clear as he tried to break ranks. After a brilliant spell for 10 minutes, Thais now has been quelled a little bit by this Malaysian midfield. Malaysians are themselves enjoying a purple patch in this match. Yet again, nothing penetrative at all. Midfield battle between the two teams, just closing each other out. That has been the case. It's the midfield enforcers who have won the battle and not the midfield creators. Good pressing from the Malaysian forward line. Nofon yet again winning the battle in midfield. Asked to just spread the ball out, which he does cleverly all the way to Sasalak. Malaysian defense now broken up. Sasalak! Improvisation from goalkeeper Haziq was needed, and it was very good. And then Safawi destroys all his good work with that ball behind for a corner to Thailand. Well, Irfan Zakaria gambled and tried to anticipate it and move forward, but instead it went behind him and he couldn't do anything about it because otherwise it might have been handball. And Haziq Nadzli did a splendid job in terms of using his feet, improvising. 7 minutes to half-time. The Thais looking to go ahead before the break. They already had a header save from a corner this side. Earlier on by Utra, too close to the goalkeeper, punches it into his own net, and Thailand have the lead. Unbelievable, incredible scenes here, because just about time when we were about to talk up what Haziq Nadzli did earlier on in preventing Thailand from scoring, this time he's totally gone to botch this up. Unbelievable. Heartbreak here for Malaysia, and the Thais are 1-0 up in the football final. It is a big ground here, but he's hoping that it opens up and swallows it up right now because he doesn't want to be on this pitch. The Malaysian goalkeeper Haziq Nadzli. And the Thais are a team but once they go ahead, might just go on to score 2 or 3 easily. Syamer, strong in the challenge. Safawi, who had given away the corner, tries to make it up with a brilliant effort. Blistering that one was. very little backlift. Pulled the trigger from way outside. Safawi, it's almost as if he was taking that shot in real anger with what he did in giving away the corner. The technique was absolutely brilliant. Under pressure, shots from distance, and it almost troubled Non Wang Nam. What did we say earlier on? The life of a goalkeeper. Brilliant and a national hero 1 minute, and the next, you're the biggest villain here. Utra, not the best of passes. And if they're given every opportunity right now, Thailand, what they need to do is to try to hang the ball up as high as possible in order to make this goalkeeper work. Because Haziq Nadzli, the Malaysian goalkeeper, has the look of a 6-year-old kid who's just been given his first algebra equation. He's totally perplexed, and he won't be able to tell you what happened a minute ago when he punched it into his own net. And now he needs a teammate to rescue him. The crowd trying to G the players up to make sure that they don't go into half-time with a deficit. The Thais, as we spoke about, so organized throughout this tournament defensively. Once again boxing out those Malaysian runners trying to attack the near post. That has been their tactic throughout. Attack the near post. Well, the moment the skies opened up mid-afternoon, the Malaysian fans started that big worry, because they know that the likes of Safawi Rasid, any creative player who wants time on the ball, hates playing on these zippy surfaces. Then he comes right back in, Safawi. Jafri couldn't keep ball. The break is on yet again, this time with Sasalak. High Pakon of Thailand, Sasalak, still Sasalak. Adam Noazlin with a much needed clearance. Syamer Kutty. Irfan Zakaria saying to his teammate, no, Azam Azih, get out of the way. I almost spotted a pass then to Matthew Davies. That passage and that path, that angle's been cut out already. Thanabalan's trying to attack this after a flick on by Jafri, failed to do so. 2 minutes remaining of the first half, which really has come to life with one of the biggest goalkeeping errors you'll ever see it in a major final like this one. Davies. Thanabalan and Davies worked that one out brilliantly to get out of cul-de-sac. Ball that had already gone out. Had gone out for a corner. Well, the Thais will tell you that they deserve this lead because they felt they deserved a penalty as early as the 2nd minute of play. They didn't get it. They made the Malaysian goalkeeper work once. Somehow he's managed to help them out. Second time around, nervous moment, especially for the goalkeeper here, who hates seeing the ball airborne. Some semblance of control needed in midfield now, especially for the Thais since they have the lead. Chenrop looking for runners on the outside. That's experience for you. That's absolutely wily from Chenrop. He looked on the outside. He didn't get the run then from Ratakon. He wasn't too happy with his right fullback not making that forward move, so he decided to hold the ball up. And the moment he passed it, seeing that the pass was a little loose, here we go, just waiting for contact, bam, go down with the free kick. He was looking for it from the moment he got the ball. Malaysian went hook, line and sinker right into it. As I said, if I were the Thais now, I'd just be hanging the balls up and asking questions of the Malaysian goalkeeper. Sasalak has been known to strike it even from this distance. And on a very, very slippery pitch, might be a good option. First you need to get it past the ball, which he didn't. Well, the Thais want the ball put out of play because it was really smacked hard onto the body of Safawi Rasid. Two added minutes. And we're already into the first of those two. Sporting enough to give the ball back to the Malaysians, appreciated by the crowd. And Ong Kim Swee needs to summon his players up at half-time, get them attacking. Malaysian goalkeeper was just really making the crowd nervous here at the National Stadium. Not the best of passes inside that time from Peerawat Akratum. A lot of his work on unnoticed in the first half, only because he's been chasing down and keeping out Safawi Rasid from the game. Here is Nopom once again, the only player booked in this match. Thais happy to keep ball and play this one out now. Surya, we haven't seen a lot of coming forward. Shenrop back to Surya. Only two players who played in the last SEA Games. Matthew Davies cleared that one easily, but only as far as a Thai. Who was there yet again? Nopom Phomkham. So the end of the first 45 minutes. In a game which the Malaysian goalkeeper was absolutely superb in keeping out a header from point blank, and then made the error of the tournament by punching it into his own net to give Thailand the lead under no pressure at all in that moment of madness. The Malaysians have had their chances. So a lot of their efforts have gone either straight at the Thai goalkeeper or been boxed out completely by what has been a resolute and steely Thai defense. Safawi Rasid really hasn't gotten into this game yet. Waterwood Srimarka would be very happy with the way that his team have played in the first 45 minutes, as he talks once again to Ficha Utra, player who had a header on target saved by Haziq in the middle of that first half. The Malaysian crowd stunned from the first 45 minutes. No thanks to their goalkeeper, giving the Thai crowd plenty to celebrate. Safawi, they need him in the second half. Chenrop, the Thai star and captain, has showed up. And they lead by a goal to nil, thanks to an own goal from Haziq Nadzli in the first 45 minutes. A packed Bukit Jalil National Stadium has been raucous. It has been fiery. They tried their very best to make it as frosty, as intimidating as possible to the Thais. But Thailand, when it comes to the SEA Games final, always have that composure in them and that been there, done that attitude. The last time they lost a SEA Games final was in 1991, and at the moment they almost got their fingerprint on the gold medal yet again. The goal which they won, remember, for 13 times already. First half highlights will be coming up soon, and we might come back just in time for that, but I can tell you that it's 1-0 here at half-time between Thailand and Malaysia at the break in the football finals. Thailand leading by a goal to nil, and we'll have some hockey action in the bronze medal match between Singapore and Thailand. Highlights of that when we come back.
2-2 between Singapore and Myanmar. Singapore then lost to Malaysia 9-1. Thailand were a man short on the line. They've just brought someone back to give them their 5 outfield players, and he does it again. Top corner for Yahari, and Singapore have taken an early lead here. Excellent finish. There's a player on the line as well, but such was the pace on that ball, he just couldn't get a stick anywhere near it. And Yahari makes it 1-0 to Singapore. Oh, and this time they have found a way through. Wei can't keep it out, and Thailand equalise, and they finally capitalised on one. And it's Seksit who puts the ball in. So the pressure was bound to tell from Thailand, and finally it has. Came off the goalkeeper's foot into the top corner, but well, he'll be disappointed, the keeper, with that. But Thailand delighted to have got themselves back on level terms. And now we're all square. It is Yahari right the way through and put it from close range for Singapore to take the lead with just 90 seconds to go. Yahari that time couldn't find his way through. It was brilliantly put in on the line by Ian van der Put, who took the penalty corner. Quick reactions when that came back off the goalkeeper's stick. And he couldn't have been any closer to put that one in to make it 2-1. And a brave effort by Thailand in this second half may well have been in vain now. And Singapore, as I say, who wanted to be contesting the gold and silver, have had to be content with bronze, but it is a consolation for them. Singapore 2, Thailand 1 is the full-time score. Singapore taking the bronze.
So congratulations to our hockey team for that bronze. The Shah Alam Stadium just a few hours ago started like an EDM festival, and now it's almost got the feeling of a classical concert because of this goal and this mistake by the goalkeeper. Look at this. We're talking about a goalkeeper we didn't see, who made a stunning save earlier on, thanks to the acrobatic flying skills of Haziq Nadzli against Vicha Utra. But in the 38th minute of play, the Thais, they couldn't believe it themselves. Just a corner swung in, hung up in the air, and the Malaysian defence did enough, or at least they thought, to box out the Thai players, allowing only one runner in, and that was Saringkan Prombupa. But Saringkan probably caused enough of a distraction to Haziq Nadzli, who had looked already very vulnerable coming up for crosses throughout this tournament and the course of this match, to forcing him to punch it into his own goal with his left hand and hoping that his right hand is going to punch his own face at the moment, because it was a face palm moment for the Malaysian goalkeeper. Now his teammates have to help him recover in this match and score a goal against a team who haven't conceded now in 525 minutes of football at their SEA Games. A task which was hard enough at the start has now gotten a little harder. But as I said at the start of the broadcast, they need to bring up and rehash the spirit of 1989 when they hosted the Games. That day at Stadium Merdeka, it was also raining heavily, and there was an own goal scored that day as well, when Singapore's Borhan Abu Sama put Malaysia in the lead before Fandi got the equaliser, and then Malaysia romped away in the second half with goals by Lim Tiong Kim and Dola Kasim. The weather that day was pretty bad, and the pitch was even more horrendous than this one. Can the Malaysians sum it all up? The courage that is needed in the second 45 minutes of football action. All set and ready to go. And I'm sure Ong Kim Sui has got them all G'd up. You have to be, you really have to be. It's your final 45 minutes now of this match. As the TMJ is there to help in terms of the urgency of the players. Attack the ties. Courage needed. Men needed now. Beasts needed probably. And the first thing they need to do is to get this crowd on their side again. And nothing better than to launch a few balls and attack the ties straight away from the first whistle in the second half. Get the crowd going, get them at your side, and who knows, maybe the ties might just crack at the back. Vicha Utra, who remember had that header saved by Haziq 10 minutes before the opening goal. The ties protecting a 19-game unbeaten run in the SEA Games. Losing only one final back in 1991. And they've kept to form at under 23 level, where they've scored against Malaysia in every game. Just been told as well, thanks to CS, a friend of mine, that Malaysians, Ong Kim Sui, have not lost a final at under 23 level. They of course won in Indonesia and Palembang in the SEA Games in 2011. And then a Merdeka tournament in 2013. They beat Myanmar in that. They're trailing now, the Shah Alam. They know for a fact that every time they've won goal at the SEA Games, they've had to beat Thailand. 77, they beat Thailand 2-0 in the final. 79, 89 in the semis. 09 and 11. "45 minutes to rescue this, or maybe take it to extra time, maybe even penalties." One goal was all the ties needed against Myanmar. That came late. They have that insurance now into the second half. One goal the Malaysians needed against Indonesia. That also came late. One goal. And no concession in the second half would be good enough to take it to extra time, but they trail now. Their second half displays have been fantastic, and they've already come back once already at these games. And that of course was against Singapore. In the opening few minutes of this second half, they're getting all set and ready to bite into any sort of challenges against the ties. You can see already the urgency that's needed and just the vigor of these Malaysian players. But like what I said, the crowd's pretty quiet at the moment. Just make sure that you get them involved. Just get them involved in the opening minutes of the second half. Just ask some questions, pose some problems at the back line. They might win a free kick from this. The ties though somehow managing to scramble the ball away, and Utra last touched it. It's gone out. Jafri Chu getting himself involved. And that's one way to get the crowd involved. And the ties know everything about gamesmanship. They're not going to play into those hands. I can tell you that. Sometimes you need that just to get your teammates going. Jafri tries to play for the corner, not going to get it, but the boot was pretty high. It might be a yellow card here for the Malaysian. It should be. It's just a staring at. The only yellow he got was the yellow of the referee's eyes, that's all, but it should have been a yellow card, that one. Because Jafri Chu has come out in the second half trying to gnaw away the ties and trying to ensure that he annoys them as much as possible, just to try to get into their heads. young Nam, who was on the books of French club Montree at a very young age. You can understand why looking at his tournaments, because he has probably been the standout goalkeeper at these games, where he's not just only dealt with crosses, but so strong with his cat-like reflexes. Waterwood Sri Lanka, remember, hasn't lost at the SEA Games as a player, and still hasn't lost as coach. Trying to be the 4th Thai coach to win it as player and coach. The last 2 have done it. Khattisuk Sinamong, of course, in 2013. Chaowat Veerachart at the last SEA Games, and the first to do it was 1995, Utaya Lahakun. Break is on for the Malaysians if they get to the ball, but they've allowed the ball to bounce and just spray it out all the way to Thailand inside the defensive third. Syamer Kutty comes away with it now. Jafri Chu needs to keep ball. He tries that reverse pass, which somehow makes its way to Shazwan. Safawi outside of him. Gets involved now. Jafri Chu, they need him in the box more than outside, spraying those balls out. Davies, Thanabalan. Thais have marked him out in this game. He hasn't had a sniff, but neither did he against the Indonesians until the final 4 minutes. Irfan Zakaria, not the most competent or comfortable of first touches. Sri Khan, super strong in the air, and the Malaysians though get the ball right back. Safawi, still Safawi. Good enough defensively, although they fell asleep for a while. First one charged down, lucky enough with a break. The Thais woke up just in time. At least that number 8 did. Nopon Fomkam, as I said, he's been going around his business very quietly, but perhaps has been the best Thai player in the first half. Well, he puts it out for a corner, and this is what the Malaysians want, their fans to get involved. They conceded from a corner. Can they equalize from it? They have another opportunity. Last came off Surya Singmui. Actually, it was the number 15. Last came off Sringkhan from Bupa. Lethal left foot of Safawi. That was right in the mix. And the Thais somehow managing to scramble it away. Sasalak did splendidly to keep it. This should be a yellow card now. That was a nonsense challenge coming in from Adam Noazlin. Really high, really heavy as well. On Waterwood Nambech, the Thai centre-back, who went sprinting forward just to meet the pass from Sasalak. As I said, getting themselves stuck in, trying to bully the Thais, who are having none of it. It's a very poor free kick. It somehow kept into play. If Thanabalan had not gone back in time and tried to defend it deep, he might have gotten to the ball and broken away with it. Because Fitiwat Shuktimkul slipped. Thais allowing the Malaysians to dictate matters in the opening minutes of this half. Azam happy to take the challenge, win the free kick. Well, when he came on against Singapore in the second half, he just took control of matters and played creative director. It's almost as if someone just came on and said, enough of design by committee, I'm taking charge. And he took it by the scruff of his neck. Jafri Chu caught in two minds whether to lay it off to match the run of Matthew Davies or take it on all by himself in the end. His left foot behaved like a ton of bricks. The ball bounced off for a throw into the Thais. Syamer, Azam. Shazwan. Safawi once again calling for the ball. Shazwan decides to do it all by himself. Azam's created the space. Is the shot going to come in? He took it a little bit too far. That was brilliant defending by Waterwoods, and the break is on now. Chenrop, still Chenrop. Chenrop all by himself. Oh, this is a brilliant run by Chenrop. Set it up. Thailand should score here. Oh, how did they miss that? The Malaysians escape and live to breathe and fight another day. Well, if he had gone down with that tug, that might have been a penalty. That's what he's looking at the referee. That should have been a penalty. Second time already in this match that the referees denied the Thais a penalty, and this one was even more blatant. Maybe it's because he decided to pass it on and continue with the motion of the attack. But in the end, it was missed by Veerachart Kannoo. Thailand just get a corner out of it. Malaysian goalkeeper this time. That's what he should have done in the first half. Probably got a real rollicking at half-time to say, just have the confidence to catch the ball. That's all you need to do. Jafri once again, the king of chasing after lost causes. Is that going to be a free kick? Because if it is, yes it is. The referee is given it. He's trying to give the Malaysians a lifeline here because the Thais should have got a penalty earlier on. I think the referee's given a free kick. This one was a correct decision, and this one is in Safawi Rasid territory. Well, he was pointing that way. I don't know if he's pointing for a goal kick or pointing for a Malaysian free kick. His hands were certainly pointing towards the Malaysian goal. He was pointing towards the Malaysian Thai 6-yard box, and that means goal kick for Thailand. So he's evened that out in terms of wrong decisions. But certainly when this man broke clear and into the box and was hauled down, that should have been a nailed-on penalty. Peerawat knows that. As I said, it's certainly Chenrop was built in the same mold as he was when he was a striker. All big, bursts of acceleration, and a bully in the box. Chenrop goes after this. This time he was boxed out well enough. No one attacking the ball though. The Malaysians win it back. Clever header that time by Fitiwat. Anything ball was hung up in the air by Tanakon. The Thais were retreating from an offside position. Tanakon just slightly behind, waiting for Utra to deliver. Utra was just shoved out of it. Yet again, the call doesn't go the way of the Thais. How composed was Fitiwat Sukhjitnukul. So composed. Chenrop's gone behind the defense. Is he onside? The assistant referee says yes. Once again taking the Malaysian defense on. That time clipped it just slightly too far for Utra. Couldn't keep it in play, but he's just been giving them nightmares with their runs behind Adib and Irfan Zakaria. And a lot of times it has been that same motion of threatening to cut inside before taking it to the byline. Sasalak this time. Scuffed and pulled it away. But after just quietening down the tempo of the Malaysians in the first 5 minutes, now the Thais in the last 3 minutes have started showing their own form going forward in search of the second goal. Safawi, touch on was for Thanabalan, who's been very quiet in this match. Safawi Rasid, Jafri waiting for any sort of delivery. Yet again, near post, stout discipline. That time, Waterwit Numbej. Syamer. Pass took a heavy block that time by Veerachart. As always, they look to hit it long down the flanks. Utra was called on by Waterwoods at the end of the first half, probably to ask him to just come a little deeper and ensure that they cancel out the threat that Safawi Rasid does pose with his mighty left foot. Jafri really reduced to isolation, running a lost cause up front. Featured. Surely that's a free kick. One of the easier decisions. Thanabalan. So often in this match, he now has to track back, defend. Because of that, you have been unable to see the threat he poses when he goes into forward positions. Sasalak. Veerachart. Lovely slide rule pass for Sasalak. Might have done better to keep ball. Take that effort with his supposedly weaker right foot. The Thais have looked very comfortable in the last 10 minutes. Might not be a good thing, because it might lull them into complacency and giving the ball away easily and cheaply like that. Safawi Rasid now for Malaysia. Wriggles away from one. Not the best of passes played behind No Azam. Jafri Chu, still Jafri Chu, Safawi wide. Too heavy that pass, Safawi rescues it. Found it so hard to find the angle for the cross. Now the break is on for Thailand. Poor touch though that time by Veerachart to their wonder boy. Poor touch from him. Thanabalan trying to sneak in behind the defense. Ratakon had to clear it and he did, and he was fortunate enough that it fell for a teammate in Sasalak Hyprakon. Crowd trying to provide the energy. The Thais trying to just kill that off with a second goal. That Thai number 8, Nofon Fomkam, has certainly cut off this Malaysian bloodline in midfield with his battling qualities. As I said, it goes unnoticed. But he and Fitiwat Sukjatumakun have dovetailed each other perfectly, protecting the defense. That's the number 8 once again. Just forced Thanabalan into an error. Sasakun forced into his own very error. Azam, not the best of passes. Break is on for Thailand. Chenrop once again making himself as wide as possible. And he's got space to run in behind the Malaysian defense. Thailand have got 2 inside the penalty box. That's a clever cross played inside. Blocked out somehow, that effort from Veerachart. Vision was absolutely impeccable that time from Chenrop, but he spotted the right pass after a very smart, intelligent run put out by Veerachart. Utra wins the free kick. The Malaysian fans don't like it. There are 70,000 referees here at the Shah Alam Stadium. Unfortunately, only one of them's being paid, and he makes the decisions. And he's given Thailand the free kick. Huge displeasure coming from the crowd, who thought that was a very, very soft foul to give away. Well, they came out with fire in their eyes, but the Thais just have a way of dousing it. Sasanak too close to the goalkeeper, who this time gets rubber to rubber. Poor cross, easily cut out. They got into each other's way though. Sasalak once again, and Jafri Chu, Safawi I should say. It is Jafri Chu, time on the ball. Jafri Chu decides to do it all by himself despite all the support he had beside him, including Safawi Rasid. And this man now, Azam, tried to dink it into the run of Thanabalan. all those balls that are supposedly played behind the defense just hasn't worked out. Once again, that number 8 gnawing, biting into a challenge, getting the ball away. Chenrop almost made something out of a very loose pass from Nopon. Fonkam has really been a star tonight for Thailand. Jafri Chu couldn't get it off. Here is Nopon. Played into a channel, into an abandoned area, picked up by Utra. Atakon, good enough ball inside. Needed a spearing, diving header more than a first touch inside. Even if it was, it needed to be so pure, as if his legs were made of beanbags. It wasn't though for Veerachart. Malaysia have a chance to come away with it, and this might be a yellow card for Veerachart. Deliberate trip on Matthew Davies. There we go. Should have been a yellow card. Syamer Kutty. Just him and Azam losing out the midfield battle to Peerawat and Nopon. The moment those players, Peerawat and Nopon, just come charging at you with their eyes open, you're almost like a matador. You allow them to run past you, or you allow them to steal the ball away from you, or you're forced into making a loose pass. Thailand, the first team to make a change, and it's a player who was replaced by Veerachart in the match against Thailand, who now takes the place of the wonder boy. Nattawut Sombatyotha. Certainly was a chance to just seal it for Veerachart. That's his last piece of action. Strong challenge. It was good from Syawan. Delayed the clearance because of that. Charging down came from Utra. Nattawut Sombatyotha plays for Chanaburi in the Thai League One. Kutty is taken out himself as Safawi goes for goal. It is on target. Goalkeeper spilt it. Well, Nont Wangnam, who's looked so assured throughout this tournament, almost gave his coach a hard scare by spilling that shot from the man who would know has a real bullet in him. Well, it's getting to that part of the game now where if it stays 1-0, despite the domination of the Thais and looking so comfortable in this match, you know that they're susceptible to a sucker punch. Utra, Chenrop wants the ball behind the defense. Utra uses him as a decoy, super quick feet. Chenrop with a chance, stolen away from him, nicked away at just the right time. And really the Thais, will they be ruining these missed chances? Referees decided to play on. That is a horrendous challenge coming in from Safawi, who lets all his frustration out and might be a little lucky to just be yellow. It says that he was fouled leading up to that, but that was a look at that. That was a horrendous challenge from him, right in front of the assistant referee's nose. Ratakon Maikami taking the full brunt of his frustration and anger. Well, the two JDT players, Safawi and the goalkeeper Haziq, conspired to concede the only goal of the game. Safawi giving away a corner needlessly, Haziq punching into his own net. can the Thais do with this? Sasalak into a very dangerous area. Strong work yet again from the Malaysian centre-backs, just to ensure that there was no run from deep. As they prepare another change, this time Shafiq Ahmad getting ready to come on. And it's Safawi who's pulled out. Hasn't had the most pleasant of finals. Ong Kim Swee showing that he's not afraid to make changes, rather unpopular. Took Safawi out of the Suzuki Cup as well and selected Safi Saleh, which was not a very popular decision for the Malaysians at the last ASEAN Football Championships. But this might be a stroke of genius if Safiq actually goes on to score an equalizer. The poor cross that time by Ratanakon. Azam Azih. Davies trying to gallop in behind the defense. Thanabalan spotted but had to go backwards and recycle, only because the Thais had just completely snuffed out whatever was possible in front of him. Here is Shafiq Ahmad with his first touch of the ball. Shafiq still trying to create the space and the angle for the cross. The crowd don't like that because he also recycles. It goes right back into try to attack this. The Thais have allowed it to bounce all the way through. Shazwan cutting it back. Difficult chance and opportunity for the other substitute to just come on to take that effort at goal. Daniel Amir Norisham always behind him. And in those situations, the ball's usually going to go sky high. You take a real belter of it. .549 minutes now without conceding a goal for Thailand at these games. Malaysia have to do something to get right back into it. They brought on 2 substitutes, but have taken out perhaps their playmaker extraordinaire, Safawi Rasid. He's also another one who can really strike it from free kicks. And they might be missing that bullet. And they have those opportunities in front of the Thai goal. But this Thai defense has really been bulletproof. As I said, it's not the most attractive Thai team to have played at the SEA Games. You probably give that to the classes of 2013 and 2015. But probably the most resolute. They're right up there. Just a penalty conceded in this tournament, and that was in the first match against Indonesia. Not over yet. So I was saying, the last 4 meetings between these two sides at the SEA Games have produced goals that have been scored in the final 5 minutes. Now the Thais, a little miscomm then between the 2 midfielders who've just been absolutely superb otherwise. Good shackling back to take away the threat was put out then by Nattawut, but it peters away just as the minutes are for the Malaysians. Not the same sort of fluidity that we've seen from Malaysia in their matches leading up to it, especially in that 3-1 victory against Myanmar. But you know, a lot of it's down to the fact that the Thais just don't give you enough time to play on the ball. Takedown was very good by Shafiq Ahmad. Adib. Header on, and the Thais happy enough because Shafiq had already been drawn out, so too Jafri Chu. One drawn wide, one drawn out. And that was an easy ball all the way back to Nont Mwangnam. Sasalak completely out-muscled. Azam does well to get himself out of a very tight situation and then take and win the free kick. That's all he could do. But once again, Thais just really suffocating them. Football asphyxiation at its very best, but they break away now with Shafiq. Always wanted on his right. Shafiq, still Shafiq. Easy for the goalkeeper. Way too tame, that effort. It's the energy of the bench players to actually come on and try to be a real hero. It's usually what the coaches always say to you. Go on and win the game for us. Thanabalan is being kept on alongside Jafri Chu because those guys can make something out of nothing. Matthew Davies wanted a free kick. Surya Singmui says, I didn't even touch you. He wasn't even interested in it. Touched the ball off the Malaysian right wing back for a goal kick to Thailand, heading into the final 17 minutes of the SEA Games football final. Thailand lead by that Haziq Nadzli own goal to 0. And make their second substitution, bringing on a defender, Shinnaphat Leeaoh, for Nofon, who's run himself down to the ground. Also, he's on a yellow card. Otherwise, has been a real star in this combative Thai midfield, which hasn't given the likes of Azam Azih, who's just won the header fortuitously any space and given them any links at all with the attack. Azam, Jafri Chu once again dropping really deep. He has to be the stem in this team, without of which the veins have to be pumping blood. At the moment it isn't. Davies trying to reverse that cross. Chenrop has had absolutely nothing, but he might have a little break on here. Chenrop, the Thais now almost with a counter. That's a poor pass though. It's a very poor pass being put out by Nattawut. Had to go wide first because Chenrop had just gone sprinting clear. Had to release the ball a lot sooner than he did. Daniel Adib saying that's a ball too far for me to fetch anyway. There's always going to be a teammate behind. Safrik Ahmad. The unpredictability of the substitutes. The Thais just failing to really find out and know what Shafiq Ahmad's going to do. That time the pitch misbehaved for Matthew Davies. The Australian-born Davies gives away the free kick, which the Thais will be more than happy to take as much time as possible to take this. Waterwood Numbech, who scored last year against Malaysia in the Nations Cup, hits it long. No free kick. Referee had a look at the assistant referee. I don't know why, because he was actually nearer to the action than the assistant referee. Almost as if asking him for a reason to change his mind. Just trying to slow the tempo of the game down. It's a couple of very loose touches and poor touches from the substitutes. Waterwood's, Nattawut I should say. Challenge was very, very strong that time from Shinnaphat. Azam. Shazwan. Shafiq. Adam to Azam. They're trying to get him on the ball as much as possible. To make sure that its creative linchpin of the team is alive and well. Breakout is very good, and this is Sasalak. Chenrop to his left. Chenrop's gone behind the defense. He's delayed the pass only because he thought Chenrop was in an offside position. Thais have committed some players forward, which might allow the Malaysians to break. Didn't have enough elevation behind that pass though for Thanabalan. He's done supremely well to keep the ball in play and turn away from his marker. Thanabalan creating his own space. Shafiq waiting for the cross to be delivered. Way too deep. He keeps it alive though. Shazwan, Shafiq still on the outside. Shazwan goes for goal, almost there. Shazwan Ishak. The Thais thought for the life of them that he was going to cut it back to his favorite left foot, but instead he took his chance and took the gamble on the right, and it almost paid off. So close to the equalizer. He got a goal at the under-23 qualifiers just recently in Bangkok against Mongolia. And almost got his first at these games in the final too. The warning signs are there though, as Akia Rashid comes on for Jafri Firdaus Chu. I think Ong Kim Sui is already seen from that cameo appearance by Shafiq Ahmad how it's a little bit of unpredictability can unsettle this Thai squad. Well, they have been rattled, but they haven't been flummoxed yet. Chenrop losing it in the air. The run on is good from Daniel. Shafiq, still Shafiq. They should know by now he cuts it back to his right foot at any given opportunity. Shafiq almost invited to take the shots before the challenge was put on him, delaying the release of the pass, which incurred a little of the wrath of the Malaysian crowd. Adam, remember he used to be a striker turned defender, but that was another one of those moments. That'll be a line to the punches goalkeeper made to separate these two teams in the game. 10 minutes to rescue the goal for Malaysia. Ong Kim Sui, gold medalist, remember, in 2011. Did the first part already. He said that they're here to win it. Well, they're in it, but they're not winning it at the moment. Thais will keep the ball as long as possible. Quite surprised they haven't shown the appetite to go for a second. They did in the early stages, but in the last few minutes, Warrawood's substitutions have been bringing on defensive players for their attacking players. Another strong challenge put in then by Sarin Khan. Warrawood, it's a poor ball, really poor ball put inside by Sasalak. Just at a time when you needed that composure. Now the Malaysian fans are getting behind their team for one final push. Thanabalan attacks, not going to give it up. Little scruffy, but the Thais don't care as long as they clear it. Fitiwat, oh, what a clever ball that one was, and unfortunately though, a little too much sugar behind it. Rakan, not the most convincing of clearances. The ball played outside, it's a very clever one by Nattawut. Sasalak will keep it in play. Chenrop once again will go inside and hunt. Surya As I said, one of the best crosses that we've seen in the SEA Games, although we haven't seen him really put the ball in the box in this match. It was through his cross that led to Chenrop's winning goal against Myanmar. And it's his punch that might be the winning goal in this match, unless the Malaysians get their skates on. The Thai crowd appreciating every effort from their players as they applaud Ratakon Maikami, the right fullback from Buriram United. Tanakon, not the best of crosses, almost made something out of it, and now he's going to go scampering back because he's abandoned his position to take the corner, and the Malaysians have an opportunity to go break hard at the Thais. With little skill by Akia, gets the free kick, almost taking one for the team. He wants the ball back quickly, not so much protesting against the referee and asking for a red card, but he wants the ball back quickly, and he's in space at the moment. Shinnaphat Leeaoh, the substitute, doing a number on the other substitutes and getting a booking for that. Azam Azih and Adib going up as Utra is replaced by Buran, Chaiyawat Buran. Goalkeeper's got to come for this, and he does so, oozing confidence. Doesn't catch it, but they don't care. Davies wanted the ball back, but it goes the other way instead to Adib. Here is Davies creating the angle for the cross. Not enough height, and there are two Thai players there just to ensure it's taken out. Azam, turn was clever enough, then ran out of options. Adam, Shazwan, shot just went blazing over the bar a few minutes ago, wins the corner. Late flurry from the Malaysians, giving the crowd hope. After all that Thailand have done, it's still only 1-0. Azam Azih, we've seen already him delivering from this side, and round about this time Thanabalan scoring against Myanmar. Will it be a case of deja vu? Azam crosses a little deeper this time, and always back paddling, had to generate his own muscles and strength. Was Matthew Davies, who couldn't get it on target. See what he was trying to do, the Pahang captain. Teammate saying might have been better just to head it back. So you're back paddling at that speed, you don't know what's behind you. Sometimes just needed to get a little frolic to the ball. Chenrop, what a climb from him. So no one though expected him to win it. Here's Chenrop, who is so adept and strong in these positions in keeping the ball. He's telling his teammates now, be a little calmer and not give the ball away, and give the Malaysians another opportunity. But once again, Ratanakon does that. A little over enthusiastic and overzealous. That challenge by Fitiwat Shoktit Tumakun. Well, there was the opportunity, just that little ray of hope, so he went sliding in for that. Thanabalan ran out of room. Thailand have a lot of room to attack. It's almost a 2-on-3 break now. Let's see what they do out of it. Chenrop wants the ball played out wide. The ball doesn't get to him. Adam was there, and it was an easy header out. Once again, Thailand don't take advantage of their possession and give the ball away to the Malaysians. And they have enough players forward for the Malaysians to have some hope here on the counter-attack. Running right into traffic that time was Ahmad Rashid. Somehow he manages to squeeze the ball out to Matthew Davies. Surya has been so good against Davies. Counter-attack is on once again. and just have the ball on the ground and eat up some seconds. Much better than giving it away in dangerous positions, because the Thais haven't looked too good. Don't really have that attacking nous to slow that down and really play this game out, because every time they get themselves into promising positions in the attacking third, they have been giving the ball away. It's another fine example. It's a poor free kick. I mean, play it back, play it square, just keep the ball. But you're giving Malaysia every opportunity. Get right back into this. They have a throw after that challenge from Sarin Khan. Daniel. Shafiq asking for the ball. It needed to be towed away. And it was by Sarin Khan against a very enthusiastic Akia Rashid, 18-year-old from the Kedah under-21 side, who's come on and added some juice into the squad. Chenrop with a break on for Thailand. There is a real break on here. If Chenrop just looks up, he doesn't, and gives away the free kick. Now, if only he had taken a look up, Nattawut in fact had broken clear of the defense and sprinted away, and there was not going to be any offside because he had sprinted from his own half, head down all the way through, ran right into traffic. Malaysia have made their 3 substitutions, so they're hoping this is not too serious for Adam Noazlin. The Thai sense another gold medal. They're 14th at the SEA Games, and this has been the difference. Inexplicable. Well, there's catching it, there's palming it, and punching it convincingly. And that one was really a dap on the face that you'd get at primary school fights, more than the real fist of fury that was needed from the goalkeeper. Thanabalan, still Thanabalan, works as hard as he can and somehow wins a corner. Seconds remaining before we go into added time. Wrong decision by the assistant referee. It came off the boot of Thanabalan. Can the Malaysians make something out of it? Adam Noazlin, who scored his only goal of this tournament from a corner against Brunei, is right up there, along with Thanabalan, who is so good at pushing away the defenders. Went through a sea, it's still kept alive by the Malaysians, and probably arrowing towards the top corner until that intervention from Peerawat Akratum. He dealt with it well enough, and look at Peerawat here, putting his head on the line after protecting the near post. The Thais just putting their bodies now anywhere they can to repel anything the Malaysians are throwing at them. Haziq's come out for that. He's got to clear it. He was calm enough, but now they're under pressure. The ball stolen here. Somehow they managed to play it back to the goalkeeper. 3 minutes remaining from the 4 added by the referee. The Thailand have got to keep ball. They've just been giving the ball away after keeping it. The vision was impeccable. A chance to seal it now for Chenrop. Poor touch from him. Poor touch. And he knows it. He apologizes immediately to the bench and Waterwood, his coach, and saying it was all me, because this was a poor touch. That first one and this one, that one from the left foot, that just messed up any opportunity to take it to the corner flag. Shafiq, long searching ball is too deep. Adib has totally abandoned his centre-back's position and joined in the attack. Why not? Bring up Adam Noazlin as well, who is a striker by trade, playing for Selangor. bring him up there too. And if you lose and you concede another goal, it's okay. There's no goal difference. It's the final. Chenrop makes up for his earlier error with some wonderful control and wins the free kick. Exactly what the Thais need. That's him standing up. That's the reason why he's the captain. Owns up to his error and says, so the next time and I have the opportunity, I'm going to do you proud, coach. And he certainly did in holding the ball up and winning that free kick. Tanakon. The Malaysians are desperate to get the ball back, and the Thais sense it and are happy to shield it and take any sort of contact. But Tanakon, Shafiq gets away with that. Thanabalan lost out in the air yet again. The turn was pretty clever by the Thais. Chenrop wants it and he's saying, no, hold it, don't put it inside the box. He was showing the way there, but he's telling his teammates actually to hold it. Instead, they went hunting inside the penalty box, and now the Malaysians are marauding forward down this right-hand side. Davies yet again slipping at the wrong time. Chenrop trying to show the way, and yet again, any sort of contact, he goes down. Seconds remaining, and Chenrop will lead another Thai SEA Games football team to a gold medal. Not much time left. And why was that given away as well by the Thais? They themselves are losing their heads and their nerve. It's all over. It ends on a whimper for the Malaysians, who had so much hope going into the SEA Games football final. But Thailand have been so hard to crack at these games. Haziq Nadzli, you feel sorry for him because he pulled off a stupendous save 10 minutes before punching the ball into his own net. And he punched Thailand to the gold medal podium. The Thais, aside from that save, didn't really force much in terms of chances. But this is a Thai side that's been built from the back. The defense has been titanium. Along with this, they haven't conceded in 570 minutes of football. Just the penalty goal to Indonesia in the first match, and nothing more after that. Just like the last SEA Games, they only concede one in the whole tournament, and the Malaysians couldn't find the one to get themselves right back into the match, despite whatever sink they threw at them. They almost threw their whole property on Kim Swee, bringing on two strikers to try to change the course of the game. Waterwood Srimaka sends his well wishes to a Malaysian team that now are looking at thanking their fans for turning up. The Shah Alam crowd came here with so much hope, as I said, from as early as 2:30 in the afternoon, and leave here 8 hours later having nightmares of that. It's a horrendous way to lose a final. You always hope that a game of this magnitude would be settled by a moment of brilliance, but instead it was a moment of madness from Haziq Nadzli that has given Thailand the gold medal. A repeat of the 2001 final. Thailand win it by a 0-0 against Malaysia. It's the penultimate day of competition from the 29th Southeast Asian Games. I'm Mark Richmond.
I'm Kelly Latimer, and we've got the highlights of Team Singapore in Kuala Lumpur. We've got the Silat athletes who are in the gold medal matches.
Also speed skating, which, like figure skating, is happening at the SEA Games for the very first time.
Now, 3 days ago, we told you that Singapore had surpassed its 43 gold medal mark. And the next target in sight? 50.
Well, that's what we told you yesterday. That was the target that we achieved in 1993. Now, late last night, after this program was over, our cyclist, Kelvin Sim, won a gold